I'm Cynthia Izaguirre with your headlines from North Texas. A community is still reeling after the National Weather Service confirmed 5 tornadoes in North Texas on Tuesday. They say an EF-3 ripped through Mineral Wells, a city about 50 miles west of Fort Worth. Richard Solomon shows us how families are now picking up the pieces.
I was terrified.
It only took a matter of seconds.
We all started hearing kind of glass shattering in the distance. We felt the pressure drop.
To leave behind so much destruction, so much damage.
I was just hoping and praying that my family and my pets were going to make it through this.
Now, Allison Davis stands outside of what used to be her construction and roofing building, grappling with the reality of what's been lost.
Who does a roofing company call when they get a tornado on top of their roof?
The building torn apart by what officials say was an EF-3 tornado that ripped through the area known as Fort Walters in Mineral Wells. Davis and her coworkers were inside when the storm hit. And you guys just rushed in here.
Yeah, we all just four of us piled in here, the 4 of us that were here, and we held the door until we could tell that at least the winds that had passed.
And now, city leaders say this is the start to a long recovery process.
We need people to remember this area. A lot of this area is still not safe.
Officials say 5 people were injured and taken to the hospital, 2 by ambulance and 3 others in private vehicles. In the hours, days even ahead, crews will be working to clear dangerous areas while also setting up resources to help those displaced and support community donations. It's going to be a long road ahead, and it could be a while before things feel normal again. But there's one thing that everyone in this city can hold on to, and that's what matters most.
Knowing that all of my loved ones are okay.
As many in North Texas were watching the skies last night, Fort Worth police were on an urgent search for the person they say shot a police employee. Scoop Jefferson has been tracking the case since it started and has new details from the suspect's family.
I've never seen anything like this around here before.
It's a first for Brandon Talatino. Crime scene officers in his neighborhood, all connected to a frightening call from his mother Tuesday afternoon.
She was in the backyard. She said she heard gunshots. She was doing some yard work.
Police swarmed their housing addition just before 12:30 Tuesday, responding to an active shooting on North Juliet Lane. The victim, a police department community response unit worker in Brandon's neighborhood, taking a report for a homeowner about a burglary, now rushed to the hospital.
I visited him at the hospital. He was in stable condition. He was talking, he was moving, we had a good conversation.
Police Chief Eddie Garcia says the same suspect exchanged rounds with several officers but got away, sparking a massive search, forcing nearby schools on lockdown. Officers set up a perimeter, brought in K-9 units, and searched using their police helicopter.
We have counted 3 armored vehicles like the SWAT team uses, 3 of them now, and over 200 marked and unmarked police vehicles.
After nonstop searching to help ease public concerns, Fort Worth police posted this photo on social media of officers arresting 39-year-old Angel Cantu, now facing 3 counts of aggravated assault against a public servant. As the community response unit worker recovers,
By the grace of God, hopefully he'll be okay.
Brandon says he and his family
And this area is overall super nice.
are grateful their neighborhood seems to be back to normal. In Fort Worth, I'm Scoop Jefferson.
Prosecutors pushed back hard on the defense's psychiatric experts today, challenging the diagnosis given to former FedEx driver and killer Tanner Horner. They say it does not excuse him killing 7-year-old Athena Strand in Wise County. Rebecca Lopez takes us inside the courtroom with the biggest moments of the day.
Prosecutors went straight at the heart of the defense's case, challenging a psychiatrist who diagnosed Tanner Horner with a long list of conditions, including PTSD, autism spectrum disorder, and ADHD. They questioned whether those diagnoses were built on truth or on what Horner told Dr. Eileen Ryan.
So when you ask somebody a direct question, you don't think it's important that what they're telling you is the truth?
It's not a question of importance when you're doing this kind of evaluation.
But prosecutors didn't let up, pointing out even other experts say Horner does not have PTSD or some of the other conditions she diagnosed.
If they say that he doesn't have PTSD, are you wrong or are they wrong?
I believe I'm correct.
Horner has given different reasons on why he killed Athena. He told Dr. Ryan that he panicked and killed her because she saw him doing cocaine, despite no evidence of that.
So according to you, if there is him, if he doesn't see him, or she see him snorting coke, none of this happens.
Prosecutors also dismantled claims Horner struggled to think through his actions because he has autism spectrum disorder, pointing to what they say was calculated behavior after the crime.
You'll agree with me that what he did in this case, this was intentional, correct?
Yes.
The defense also called a friend, his former boss and his cellmate, who all testified Horner had a troubled life. The inmate testified he thought he was a good guy. Some of the jurors snickered during that testimony that didn't sit well. The defense is trying to explain why Horner acts the way he does, but prosecutors say it isn't about diagnosis, but about choices. In Fort Worth, Rebecca Lopez.
Despite strong pushback from parents, Fort Worth ISD is moving forward with staff cuts and closing down a school. The community tells Brittany Costello the impact could be felt across the entire district.
The Fort Worth ISD Board of Managers voted this morning to close International Newcomer Academy. This is a school in Fort Worth that's designed for immigrant students who are still learning English. It goes hand in hand with a reduction in force the board also approved in a vote this morning. That staffing reduction will impact more than 24 positions connected to dual language and bilingual programs. Some positions connected to special education and speech therapy. More than 100 people, parents, teachers, and staff signed up to urge the board to reconsider this reorganization. It did not work. Zach Leonard is a parent of 3. He is part of a group called Families Organized Resisting Takeover.
Those impacts will be less resources for teachers, which means less end result student outcomes.
Fort Worth ISD says it's about right-sizing the district, calling this a reduction in administrative overhead. While there's been a reduction in attendance over the years, the district says there has not been the same reduction in staffing. In Fort Worth, I'm Brittany Costello.
And those are your headlines from North Texas.